Welcome to True Crime with Strategic Eyes.
Strategic back again. What's going on, guys? I want to cover a young lady that has not gotten nearly as much media coverage as Madeline Soto, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to call her something. And I hope that I don't come off as inappropriate because that's not what my intention is at all. But I see the similarities between these two girls that it's almost like this girl is the black version of Madeline Soto, the African American Madeline Soto. And the reason why I say that is because both of these little girls was 13 years old. Both of them were groomed and abused by an older male that was a stepfather figure in their life. Both of them were sexually abused over a extended period of time, and both of them were killed. Now, we have not gotten definitive evidence that Madeline Soto was pregnant. We haven't gotten that yet. We may never get that. She may never have been pregnant. Maybe it was a thought in Stephen Stern's mind based off of the questions that the detectives were asking. Maybe it wasn't. I don't know. But it is confirmed that this beautiful little girl in Detroit was pregnant. Now, her name is Naziah Harris, and I might be saying her name incorrectly, and I'll correct myself as we go along covering this when the news says her name correctly, but I believe it's pronounced Naziah Harris. And Naziah Harris is a beautiful little girl who's taken advantage of by a serial predator. A serial pedophile predator. And this man is not only being charged with the assault and murder of this beautiful little girl, but he's also being charged with 2 other assaults with girls who were 13 and under during the time of the assault. One of those victims is 20 years old now, which shows you the amount of time that this man has been active as a predator. And his MO is, guess what? Seeking out vulnerable women. And he is, I guess you could say, an attractive guy by American beauty standards, whatever that may be. You guys will be the judge for yourself when you take a look at him. And he's using that to take advantage of women who are single mothers, many instances poor, many instances probably have a history of trauma, for the sole purpose of getting access to their daughters. I want to go ahead and bring the news in on this one because they do a really good job introducing us into this tragedy and the mind of this predator. Let's do it.
An already horrific story gets worse. A man is charged with murder and sex crimes after investigators say he killed a 13-year-old girl to hide the fact that he had gotten her pregnant. The body of 13-year-old Naziah Harris, though, has never been found.
So I said it correctly, Naziah Harris. And like he said, they still haven't found her body, but they have enough evidence to charge him with murder. Let's keep going.
Despite a lot of searching since her disappearance in January, today disturbing new details came to light as 41-year-old Jarvis Butts appeared in court to face several charges, and not just linked to Naziah. Sean Lay is live with these new revelations. Sean, it is difficult to even say out loud what this man is accused of doing.
I'm glad you said that, Kimberly. Absolutely. Stomach turning every fact that we're revealing and digging on this story. Absolutely. We're talking about motive here. We're talking about a guy, 41-year-old Jarvis Butts, just inside 36th District Court. Prosecutors laying out motive here. That at age 13, Naziah Harris, he got her pregnant. He was reporting to prison. He was turning himself in the very day the Naziah went missing. Prosecutors.
And I think he was reporting to prison based off of the other cases that he had where he was abusing other girls, but they'll clarify. Let's see what's going on.
Say he could not allow her to have his baby while he was in prison. It would reveal years upon years of sexual abuse. Here's the latest.
Mr. Butts is a serial child rapist and murderer. The evidence will show that Jarvis Butts has been sexually assaulting Naziah Harris since at least the fall of 2022, and that Naziah Harris was pregnant.
This is the first time we are seeing 41-year-old Jarvis Butts in court.
You know, they were able to intercept text messages from the phones where she's telling him, like, hey, I haven't got my period this month. This guy is the worst of the worst. He's Stephen Stearns. He's what Stephen Stearns would have been if he did not kill Maddie and was able to continue to victimize this young lady and then move on past her to find other victims. Now, there might still be other victims that were victimized by Stephen Stearns that have not come forward yet. You never know. But a guy like Stephen Stearns, when Maddie ages out or him and Jennifer break up permanently, she says, you can't come around no more, he would be looking for another victim. This is what Stephen Stearns would look like, unchecked, unfeathered. Let's keep going.
Accused of the sexual assault and murder of 13-year-old Naziah Harris. And we learned new information from prosecutors today. Naziah went missing January 9th. On the very same day, Butts was due to turn himself in to serve a year sentence for carrying a concealed weapon. Listen closely to Assistant County Prosecutor.
All right, so he's currently facing the active cases for those other two girls. But as the news said, he was carrying a weapon as a felon, I guess, and that's what he was going to report to jail for.
Tina Ripley saying Butts had a Naziah Harris problem he had to handle before reporting to prison.
To turn himself in on January 9th of 2024 to serve a year-long sentence for CCW. The state ultimately got moved to February 7th of 2024, allowing him the opportunity and time to take care of his Naziah Harris problem.
Cover up a pregnancy, you hear about a pregnancy, and now you want to make sure that the pregnancy is gone. And
the funny thing is if these states weren't so pro-criminal, and I'm not blaming the state for this. There's no way that they could have known that this abuse was happening. But this guy was convicted. He already made a deal or whatever that he's going to serve time for this gun. He should have been in jail immediately, ladies and gentlemen. But because he had time to figure out his affairs and turn himself in, well, guess what? He had time to kill this girl. And I think it's that prison sentence that's a reason why she's dead now, because he didn't have enough time to figure this out. Like if he was free, he said, hey, I wanted you to get an abortion. She'd probably be like, man, I don't really want to. I don't know. He'd have time to work on her. But the fact that he had a hard date that he had to turn himself in, if she was not complying with an abortion, I think he felt like he needed to kill her. I mean, he probably felt like he needed to kill her, period, because a 13-year-old can't go into an abortion clinic and say, give me an abortion without their parent being there. And even then, I think Child Protective Services might be called because they're just too young. They're not 16 or 17. They're just too young. So either way he was screwed. Either way, the child probably would have ended up dying. But if he would have been sent to jail immediately, upon being sentenced, she'd probably still be alive right now. Let's keep going.
Naziah disappears.
Tiffany Jennings is Naziah's aunt. She has never spoken out before until now. Who's ultimately responsible for protecting Naziah from this guy?
Mother.
Oh, what a loaded question, right, Sean? In my personal opinion, with no affiliation, there are multiple parties involved, as many have already stated. And I just have to hold on to hope that the entire truth will come to light. This is
very intelligent. I like this lady. She's very intelligent, very smart, very well spoken. I love it. I love it. But I think what she's alluding to, and I'm not trying to put words in her mouth because she was very artful with how she spoke. I think she's right. It's not any one person, it's a community. But at the end of the day, it is the mother. And if it was reversed, and if it was a wife that was having sex with a son or even a daughter, who knows? It would be the father's responsibility. The buck will always stop with the parent. So the fact that the parent allowed this man into her life, and by default, her daughter's life, culpability, some measure of culpability lies with the parent. Now, is that fair? Life isn't fair. But at the end of the day, like a CEO, like a general, like a lieutenant or a sergeant who's out there in the field with their men in the theater of war, at the end of the day, the buck stops with them. And that's why those soldiers are going to go through that door when that lieutenant or that sergeant says, go through that door. They're going to go through that door because they respect the chain of command and they understand that the buck stops with that person. If something goes right, great. Something goes wrong, The buck stops with them. The buck stops with the parent at the end of the day. Let's keep going.
This is the beginning of the truth, and we're very grateful for this part, but the entire story will come out.
Quickly to say who Tiffany Jennings is there. She's Naziah's aunt. However, Naziah's dad, that's her sister. So she was not involved in the family goings-ons inside different houses about protecting this little girl. I want to explain who that is. Butts hit with 2 other charges, one for the sexual assault of a girl under the age of 13, and another, his own daughter, apparently 4 years old, who allegedly gave an STD. I told you, it just keeps getting worse. He
gave his own daughter, who's 4 years old, an STD. This guy is a monster. This guy really is a beast. He is a rabid animal. Unbelievable.
Now being held without any bond. Chief White said it best yesterday that if convicted, if all this is true, that he cannot hurt anyone else. That's why Tamara Smith, Board of Commissioners, Police Chief Kim Worthy saying if anyone else feels that they have been assaulted or violated or part of this case, have the bravery to come forward right now. Back to you.
Wow. That is just horrible. I'm not even going to let the reporter finish because I know what she's going to say. It's just horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. I want to play this one for you guys, and we're going to read some news and really get to the bottom of this, man.
The man believed to be responsible for the disappearance and death of 13-year-old Naziah Harris will remain in jail without bond. This after being arraigned in court this afternoon. 41-year-old Jarvis Butts is charged with premeditated murder, criminal sexual conduct, and child sexual abuse. Investigators say Butts has a long history of sexually abusing Harris and even got her pregnant. The teen went missing 9 months ago after getting off a school bus on the east side of Detroit. Since then, police have searched neighborhoods and bodies of water with no luck. Naziah's body has not been found.
Wow.
I just want this case to move forward. Naziah receives the justice that she demands by this. Use the words. Anyone who has been.
Butts has also been charged for sexually abusing 2 other young girls under the age of 13. He's due back in court next Friday for a probable.
And we know from the article, I know that one of them is 20 years old, but was abused by him when she was less than 13 years old. And the news just told us the other one is his 4-year-old daughter, who he abused and gave an STD to, ladies and gentlemen. It just gets worse out there. We got to protect the children, guys. We have to put the kids first. That's why I'm so adamant about calling people out when they fail the children, because we have to put our kids first. They just have to come before our ego, before everything, man. All right, let's read some articles on it. CBS Detroit. The Wayne County Prosecutor's Office is charging a Detroit man with murder and sexual assault in connection to the case of Naziah Harris, who has been missing since January. So she went missing before Maddie. But I say she's Maddie-like. She's a black Maddie. I say that because Maddie, her killer was caught first. So we've been dealing with the aftermath of Maddie going through the process of getting justice for these last few months, whether this young lady, she was missing since January, but just now in the last 24 hours, her killer, her murderer, has been brought to justice. So let's keep going. Jarvis Butts, 41, of Detroit, was charged with first-degree premeditated murder, second-degree criminal sexual conduct, and child sexual abuse activity. Unbelievable. Let's keep going. Let's read some more. Butts was arraigned Friday afternoon and remanded to jail. He's back in court for a probable cause conference on October 4th and has a preliminary examination on October 10th. Evidence shows that Harris is dead, but her body has not been found, according to the prosecutor's office. Now, I don't think they have a death penalty in Detroit, in Michigan, rather, which is unfortunate, because this rabid dog should be put down. And that's just the end of it. Let's keep going. Authorities review witness statements, surveillance video, phone extractions, police reports, medical records, including 111 gigabytes of video, 506 gigabytes of phone extraction, and 19 gigabytes of documents. So they probably got videos of him abusing her too, kind of very similar to the Maddie situation. Butch is also being charged for the sexual abuse of 2 other girls in separate cases. The girls were under the age of 13 at the time of the offenses occurred, according to Wayne County Prosecutor Kim Worthy. One of those victims, who is now 20 years old, was allegedly assaulted by Butts from April 2012 to April 2014 at a residence in Detroit. He's being charged with 1 count of first-degree criminal sexual conduct and 3 counts of second-degree criminal sexual conduct, all involving a child under 13 years of age. The other additional victim, who is now 13 years old, was allegedly assaulted by Butts from July 2015 to July 2017 at a residence in Detroit. He was charged with 1 count of second-degree criminal sexual conduct, again involving a child under 13. We know now that child, one of those children, was 4 years old, guys. Mr. Butts targeted and befriended women to have sexual relationships with their daughters, said Worthy. He would have relationships with their mothers, but his true desire was to have sex with their young daughters. That's what the evidence will show. Butts is expected to be arraigned after 10 a.m. on Friday. Prosecutors detail Butts' alleged crimes against Naziah Harris. So let's go into the nitty-gritty of the crimes. Harris knew Butts through family members and allegedly met up with him after school on January 19th. Evidence shows that she sent a message to Butts from her tablet, which indicated they were going to meet up after school that day. After school, she met up with Butts and a co-worker, and she went with them to their auto repair shop on O'Connor in Detroit. According to prosecutor's office, at 9:30 p.m. that night, Butts allegedly checked into a motel, which is confirmed by receipt and his phone putting him at the location. Harris was never seen again after January 9th. Let's go deeper. Let's see what they got. Let's see if they go deeper. Prosecutor's office says Butts knew Harris because he is the father of children with Naziah's biological aunt. Butts allegedly started sending Harris sexually explicit texts in September of 2022. In September 2023, she allegedly sent Butts a message that she had not had her period. And in November 2023, Butts was aware Harris was pregnant, according to evidence. Phone records also show that Butts had been searching for abortion options online. So she was well into her pregnancy by the time she died in January. So we're talking about, yeah, she's like four months. It's too late, man. 4 months. Wow. On January 10th, the day after Harris has last been seen, Butts was allegedly in the area of the Rouge River in Detroit. The clothes that Harris has seen wearing were found in this area. The evidence in this case will clearly show that the defendant's alleged actions were beyond predatory, said Worthy. They were vulturous. Wow. He groomed and preyed upon Naziah, with expertise. He groomed and preyed upon Naziah with expertise. We will prove that he killed young Naziah after he found out she was pregnant at 13 with his child. Background on Naziah Harris case. The 13-year-old was last seen getting off her school bus, the corner of Cornwell and 3 Mile Drive on January 9th. Her family reported her missing to school district authorities the next day. The next day they reported her missing? You know, this little girl came from a very broken home that she could be missing for 24 hours and nobody will say anything. Wow. Then on February 13th, the Detroit Police Department took over the investigation. She's 13 years old. She was to be reported missing an hour if they don't see her after the school bus arrives. 5 minutes after the school bus arrives, she's supposed to be reported missing. She's not here? What? Bus just pulled off? Missing. Wow. Detroit Police Department took over the investigation. During the press conference, Worthy noted that the investigation would have moved forward faster if the school district had turned the case over sooner. Wow. I want to know what that disconnect was. Since then, investigators have searched several locations across the city, and Michigan State Police searched a pond in Clinton Township. All right, so I get the family reported to the school district that she was missing, and the school district, I guess, was doing their own investigation. I don't know what kind of law enforcement authorities they have over there. My question is, why wouldn't the school district have returned this over sooner, number one? And number two, why didn't the parents or the parent, it's most likely a single parent home, report this to the local police sooner? I got questions. Police said tips had led them to an area of the Rouge River located behind Greater Grace Temple off 7 Mile Road and Shiawassee. Detroit police was assisted by 13 other local, state, and federal partners during the search. There's something very specific about this area that we want to take off this list, and that's why we're here today, Detroit Police Chief said. On August 15, prosecutor's office announced it was working to determine whether to file charges after receiving a warrant request from the Detroit Police Department. At the time, the prosecutor's office said it would take time to complete the review and wouldn't release any additional details about the request. Wow, that's it for that. Very sad stuff, ladies and gentlemen. This beautiful little girl, I want to put her picture up. She has such a nice smile. Such a nice smile. Apologize, guys. I just need to put her picture up. Have to put that picture up. I want her to be in the back of me. This beautiful little girl. I want people to understand that this girl was groomed. Do not think for 1 second that this is a little girl who knew what she was doing. No. This little girl was groomed. All right. Little girls this age, little boys this age, any human being this age, they are not mature enough to make decisions on having intercourse with adults or anyone else for that matter. This man, like the district attorney said, expertly groomed her. This man was a predator, a pedophile. He sought her out. He put himself in a position to get closer to this child. He abused her. And when she got pregnant, as a result of his horrible actions, he took her away from this planet. I can't wait for this beautiful little girl to get the justice that she deserves. I cannot wait. I'm waiting on bated breath for her to get the justice that she deserves. Ladies and gentlemen, I just wanted to bring awareness to Naziah Harris. Like and subscribe, join the channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Strategic is out of here. Peace.